Welcome back to the table and another game on our road to Gen Con. This is part of our coverage of games that are coming out at Gen Con. This one is called Cosmoctopus from Lucky Duck Games, and I'm here with Nelson Oliver. We just played the game and we're going to talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. It's a fun looking game. Like, I love the art style.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really
the theme.
fun. The theme is amazing.
It's this, you can see it here. This is the Great Inky One, Cosmoctopus. And we're all devotees of this giant space octopus.
Yeah.
Who's going to be moving around these realm tiles, and we're going to be collecting resources in order to essentially play a variety of different cards in order to appease this god and try to accrue the most favor by having his tentacles pop up in our little dimension. And it is a race game. You're trying to compete to be the first to get 8 tentacles, which can be kind of hard.
It can be kind of hard, and it's kind of fun because it can be very burst potential. Like, it's not just one a turn. Sometimes you can get multiple a turn, which kind of makes it feel exciting. And
yeah, it's very dynamic because you don't really know. Somebody could be a turn away from winning or multiple turns away from winning. And part of that is because of the engine building that happens with these. There are 4 types of cards you're going to be playing. You're going to start with some. In order to get more, you're going to have to take actions out here on this board that are going to allow you to draft cards from up here or potentially from the top of the deck and things like that. And you're going to be playing these cards in front of you. And some of these cards, like these black scripture cards, just give you resources that contribute to your turn. So you can kind of think like Splendor-ish.
Yeah.
Or you can get a lot of these and you can end up like, paying for cards very cheaply because you've done a good job building your foundation.
yeah, and then you have these relic cards, which are the yellow cards, which kind of alter actions that you can take. So this one specifically is the Crackling Coin Purse, and it's whenever you take a coin or the yellow resource, you get 3 additional resources. And so it can be very kind of burst potential, and you're also kind of racing for these trophies.
Yeah.
Or the Forbidden Knowledges, where if you have 13 of the coins, then you get 2 tentacles, so you're 2 tentacles closer to victory.
Yeah, which is a lot when you're only trying to get 8, really. And the last type of card you're going to have, or the last card you'll play, are these hallucination cards. And these are really powerful one-time abilities. There is another type of card, the bluish constellation cards. You're actually trying to fulfill these as objectives. This is your main way to score points. You have to get these cards out by playing them. Every card has a cost to play, so you have to first get the card, then play the card on your turn, and then fill the card with resources as you gain them. And this is where the combos start to come into play, because some of these, when you complete them, they'll give you tentacles. They might also give you other rewards, which maybe let you add other resources to other cards. And so you might have a slow kind of build-up as you're kind of building out this foundation, maybe getting 1 tentacle every couple turns. But then especially like Nelson said, if you have the 13, you can just cash them in for 2, maybe complete 2 of these. You could get like 4 tentacles in one turn.
Yeah. And what's fun and one of the interesting parts of the game is that with these 13, it's hard to get those because you have to discard down to 8 resources at the end of your current turn. And so you have to figure out a way to push to 13, hopefully spend them, or else you're just lost resources. So with this realm tile only giving you 3, you can see how you kind of need to build a tableau in order to get those, 6, 8 resources at a time so you can get these 2 tentacles.
Yeah, and you can also discard cards from your hand that match the color to pay for things. So if you're short paying for a card, or if you're short paying for one of those Forbidden Knowledges, you can get rid of that card or multiple cards in order to meet those costs. Getting those tentacles is important. It's how you're going to win the game, but it's also going to give you access to these first contact cards. And there are 4 of these first contact cards. The first time you get a tentacle in the game, you get to choose one of these cards and just take it into your hand. They cost 0 to play, and they are very powerful. So again, like there are, not that there's a race element, but if you see one of these cards out that you really want, you want to try to get to one of those tentacles early, but that means you're not building up your engine or you're not building up your foundation because you're spending a lot of time trying to complete these constellation cards. Of course, these constellation cards are going to be easier to complete towards the end of the game when you have cards like, that relic where you're grabbing a bunch of coins and putting them all out on all of your different constellations. Now, we should talk about what you're actually doing on your turn because it's very simple. You're just moving the Inky One around these Inky realms to take actions. A lot of these actions are going to gain you resources. A lot of them are going to get you cards. Potentially are going to have other actions. We have a tile that's variable that's going to be switched out every game. You just do that to take an action and then play a card, basically.
Yeah, very easy. and you move Cosmoctopus one space, or you can spend a resource to move him additional spaces. So if you really need, these whispers over here, you can spend a resource and move Cosmoctopus 2 spaces, gain the resources, then you can play a card by paying the associated costs in the top corner.
Yeah, that's most turns. However, the key to winning this game is finding those combos.
Yeah.
You had a turn where you were playing multiple cards and you got, several tentacles in a row. So if you can find ways to play a card that lets you get some resources, that lets you complete one of your constellations, which then lets you play another card, you can really start to chain that. And I think that that's a really important part of the game.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to win if you don't seize those moments to play a lot of cards in your turn.
It's a race, so it's action efficiency. You have to figure out how to, take efficient actions, and those red cards are a big part of that.
Yeah, so that is Cosmoctopus. This is, I would say, a lighter level game. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call this entry level, but it is pretty close to being like that family gateway way. You can teach this game in just a couple minutes. So this is coming from Lucky Duck. You'll find it at Gen Con at the Lucky Duck booth. And I know they have a couple different releases over there. So you'll want to definitely check that out. And stick around for more of our Road to Gen Con coverage. We're going to get as much out of Nelson as we can while he's here. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. And until we do, keep having fun at the table.
See you around.